Welcome to the dungeon where we geek out on all things horror, thriller, mystery, and suspense. And this is my top 10 for 2024. And yes, I understand that it's been a while. Yeah. But I'm not one of these people. Well, first of all, I'm not one of these people that put out the content immediately at the end of the year. Because every Tom, Dick, and Harry is doing that. And typically what I find is when you put your content out there with everybody else, you kind of get lost in a shuffle. And as a result, no attention is brought to you. Nobody notices you. So that's why when you come to a party, you gotta be fashionably late. That way, everybody's still there. The main people for the party is already there. So when you come waltzing in, everybody gotta stop and see who's here. Yes, Horror Geek Dungeon is here. Now the party can start. So I like to make my own entrance, and better late than never. Fashionably late. And if there's anything that we are here to dungeon is fashionable. Another reason is because, hey, it takes me a little bit longer to see the movies that are, coming out for the year. It takes me an extra month or so. Because I'm not on top of going out at the early screenings and the very first night out and going to see the movie the night before it actually opens at the theaters, and then I get to maybe if I should do that I could start putting out all the goddamn spoilers and shit that all these other morons do. But you see, I was brought up better than that. All right. And I like to make sure that when I look in the mirror at night, I like what I see. And I sleep just fine at night. So it takes me a little bit longer because I like to take my time. Because I put a lot of, thought and effort into putting these little, lists together for you. Now, oddly enough, what was it? A little less than a year ago, I put 2024 on notice, saying that it better, get its head out of its ass and start picking up, because, into April or March, April of last year, we were still getting pieces of crap. We were getting like January and February level pieces of crap in the horror movies. And usually by the end of March, things would start picking up. But we'd get into April, damn. I mean, it's like we were still getting crap from Blue House, for Christ's sake. So I put 2024 on notice, and I admit, and I think I said this before, it looks like 2024 was holding out on us. Because come summer, and damn, it was like the floodgates were opened up. So, I got some treat, So for 2024, not only do I have my top 10 horror movies of the year, but I'm also going to throw in some honorable mentions. My goodness, I got 5 honorable mentions here. Who would have thunk that? Now, like I say, all my other top 10s, this is the list according to moi. Now, if any of you out there speak Spanish, we all know that moi means not yours. So, if you think there's a movie on here that shouldn't be on here, or if there's a movie that wasn't on here that should have been on here, and if you did a movie on here that should have been higher, and you think it was down lower, and you did it lower, and you think it was higher, well, you need to take your PMS medicine and chill out. because you take this shit way too seriously. So, what do you say we get right into it? This is my top 10 horror movies of 2024. Again, according to moi. But first, let's get some honorable mentions out of the way here. In no particular order. First off, I gotta give kudos to a movie called Low Lives. Low Lives is on Tubi. And that in and of itself is not too remarkable. But what's remarkable about this is that it's a Tubi original. Tubi produced this movie. Now, Blumhouse is not the only one putting out shit movies, lazy movies. Usually, Tubi is sort of like, sort of like the lowest of the low. Like B movies. No, they put C movies out. Okay, some of them they put some Z movies out. All right, really crappy crap. But Low Lives really surprised me. And what really shocked me is that it's a Tubi original. Now, you got to give this one some time. Give this one about 15 minutes of time. Because the first 15 minutes, it looks like it's going to be a typical Tubi movie. Shitty acting. The characters make those stupidest decisions. All right? And I, for one, I knew I was not going to enjoy something like that. All right? But a little past the 15-minute mark, there's a twist on there. And then you are in for one wild roller coaster ride. I was impressed. And it takes a lot to impress me. So, yeah, Low Lives. If you haven't checked it out already, check it out. It's on Tubi. Give it some love. This is one of the movies, low budget movies that I would actually say, hey, we got to show some love to this. All right. Another one that's on the honorable mention is Infested. Now, my very first reaction video, by the way, is on the Patreon page. It's, in fact, the only way you could see any of my reaction videos is on Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com/horrorgeekdungeon, and you'll be able to see it. But I did my very first reaction was to a movie called Sting. And no, it is not the autobiography or biographical movie of the wrestler from WCW or AEW. It is not the biographical movie of the bass player and lead singer of Police. It was basically a alien spider movie. And yeah, it was pretty corny. But, I wanted to dip my toes into the reaction video pool and, start off easy. Well, Infested is, it's some real crap. Anybody has arachnophobia, this is not the movie for you. Unless you want to get scared shitless out of your mind, then it is the movie for you. Because, my God, and I understand they actually used, there's some shots that they actually used real spiders in this movie. Now, for the huge, elephant-sized spiders, they obviously use CGI and stuff like that, but I think for the swarms of spiders and all that, they used real spiders. My understanding is that they did. But Infested is, it's a good one. Number 3, the third one I have on my list, not necessarily number 3, I just have them numbered this way, but again, I'm going to say Heretic. Now, this is not necessarily I would not call this a horror movie. It's more of like a thriller, mystery thriller movie. But the first, I'd say, well, I mean, first of all, kudos to Hugh Grant. My goodness, I mean, you remember Hugh Grant back in I think the first time I saw him was in Love Actually. But in those rom-coms in the 80s and 90s and stuff, and I think he's done some like horror and thriller stuff in the past, but this is the first one I've actually really seen him in, and my goodness, he plays the creepy guy real well. But yeah, the I'd say the first third of the movie, the first act of the movie, is basically three people bantering back and forth, discussing the ins and outs of religion and finding the one true religion. And it just gets more creepier and creepier and creepier as it goes on. And then I just find myself wondering, where is this going? Because, I mean, from the trailers, it looks like it's going to be some kind of, Saw type of thing. And not necessarily. It didn't go that extreme. But, it's the second and third act was such that, things really hit the fan. But overall, I thought it was a very, very thoughtful movie. I thought it was, it posed a lot of questions. And really, the viewer really had to watch that movie and be prepared to have their faith questioned. Or at least pose some, questions to them that you really need to take into consideration. But overall, I thought it was a really good movie, good thriller. I wouldn't say it's full blown horror, but I thought it was pretty good. Another one in here is Mads. Now, this movie, the marketing behind this one was interesting because it spelled itself as being filmed all in one take, one continuous take. Now, obviously, the cool thing would be, after you see it, to go back and watch it again and try to, see where where is it that they could make a certain edit or a cut here, or where are these edits occurring? But it's a well done movie. It's one of those movies that I think film students would really get a lot out of it. Especially if it's coming from the standpoint of is this movie filmed all in one continuous take? Because you would really have to look at that and study it and know how everything was all set up ahead of time. And I wonder, too, how many times did they have to attempt this in order to get that one shot? Because let's face it, I mean, if one thing was not set up correctly, or one actor screwed up their lines, or somebody missed their mark, or some stunt or whatever didn't go as planned, that's it. You had to stop right there, scrap the whole thing, and start the entire thing, set up everything up again, and start and begin at the very beginning at ground zero. How many times did they have to do that before they were able to get through the entire story and have it all done in one take flawlessly? Now, I'm sure there are a few things that they put in post it was CGI and stuff like that. But the actual filming of it, one take. Have you seen this one? What sections do you think they made some? They kind of cheated a little bit and made some hard cuts and edits. And then my last honorable mention is a short YouTube film. It's about a little over an hour long, called Milk and Cereal. Now, cereal is spelled with an S. Now, this was a really good little short film. Now, similar to I think it's called the Raka Raka guys that was given a chance to write and direct their own movie, and we got Talk to Me. I would not be shocked if the creators of Milk and Cereal, either from A24 or Neon or some production company, approaches them and says and gives them a similar deal. Hey, we will fund and finance a movie that you write and direct, and we'll put it out. We'll produce it and distribute it and put it out in theaters. I would not be surprised if these guys be like the next, Raka Raka people. So it's a little short film. It's very well done, and it was made in the budget of only $800, which goes to show that you could have relatively a low amount of money and still come out with a really captivating, creative, and banger story. So I expect and hope to see more from the people of, and I don't even know their names, but just look up on YouTube. It's a short YouTube video. It's about an hour long, called Milk and Cereal. And cereal is spelled with an S, not C. All right, those are all my honorable mentions. So let's get into my top 10 horror movies of 2024 proper. Now, these are ranked from 10 to 1, 1 obviously being my personal best. All right, coming in at number 10, Smile 2. Now, damn those jump scares. Okay? There are quite a few jump scares in this movie, but they are jump scares that are not cheap. They're not lazy. All right? They actually contribute something to the movie. Also, Naomi Watts, my God, she acted her ass off in this movie. God. And what else? Should I go into spoilers? Can I say? No, I'm not going to go into spoilers. All right. If you know what I'm referring to, where half the movie, half the movie. If you know what I'm referring to, you know what I'm saying. If you know, you know. But yeah, number 10, Smile 2. I enjoyed it. Number 9, Late Night with the Devil. Now, David Densmouchian, I think it's the polka dot dude from, what was that movie? Suicide King, or not Suicide Kings, that's a totally different movie. Suicide Squad, or whatever it was. Yeah, he needs to be given more leading man stuff. Okay, no more of this. He's popped up in quite a few things as like a side character or supporting actor or whatever. He needs to be a numero uno lead actor, main first credit line given in the credits, in movies, because he does this so well. And for those of us who are old enough to remember Johnny Carson and the late night talk shows, it really did feel like I was watching a late night talk show back in the day in the 70s. They did it upright. The aesthetics of it, the set design. Now the special effects at the end got kind of wonky. It was obviously CGI. There wasn't much, practical effects. There was a few shots, but a lot of like supernatural crap that was going on at the end. And then the ending was just kind of weird. I think it took a lot of people, off kilter. It hit them from out of left field, where it's like, okay, well, all right, what does this all mean? Is he stuck in his own hell? Is what happened at the end really happening, or whatever? But yeah, the end was kind of weird, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. So it's number 9. Number 8 is Strange Darling. Some people do not like the movie because of its it's non-linear. It took things out of order. I liked it. I like the fact that it took things out of order, that it did the chapters out of order, and what you think you saw first is not actually what you saw. All right, so it's not until you have all the chapters and it gets into the epilogue where you actually had the whole story. So I enjoyed that style of storytelling. And it's always good to see Kyle Gallner in a movie. But does he always have to die in every movie that he's in? I think Kyle is the only guy who could rock one of those porn stashes and still look cool, But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the style of storytelling. I did not mind the out of sequence style of the movie at all. I enjoyed it. I think that was one of the things that really made the movie what it was. All right. Now, number 7 is Abigail. Abigail is one. It's now. First off, it's a really good. For some reason, it's a feel-good movie for me. Mainly because, if you watch it and you see all the different actors, you watch it and it's pretty clear that the crew and the actors are having a shit ton of fun doing this movie. I don't think anybody is really phoning it in, but it just looks like they had a lot of fun doing it. Now another thing is they felt that the marketing in the trailer gave too much away. They should not have given it away that the child was a vampire. In a way, even with that, there was still a lot of stuff in that movie that was enjoyable, that was surprising. Okay. I think if they just focused on the whole ballerina thing and the ballet thing, I don't think they would have gotten as many people watching the movie. Because let's face it, who the hell wants to watch a movie about a ballet? That's like, who is it? Kevin Costner. It seems like the only kind of movies he puts together and stars in is movies about baseball. Who the fuck wants to watch a movie about baseball? God, that sounds like... let's face it. If you don't want to have a boner, what do you think about? Baseball. Why? Because it's boring. All right? Is anybody surprised by that? Same with ballet. So I think that, they didn't give away too much with the fact that, they exposed that the little girl's not only a ballet dancer, but also a vampire ballerina. That did give, I mean, yeah, it did give like the first main reveal of the movie away. But the rest of that movie, after the big reveal, there's a lot of other things that is very enjoyable and other reveals that happen after that. So that's not like the only thing that the movie was hinging on. And I, I love, and too, I like watching some of these. I like watching some of these reaction videos on YouTube. These people, especially these young kids, these youngers, these youths, reacting to Abigail because none of them understand the whole reference of the Rat Pack. None of them. I think there was one young guy that was younger than 30 years old that actually understood the Rat Pack reference. Okay. And I just watch it. It's like these reactors are so stupid. Well, I mean, they're not stupid, but you can't really fault them for not knowing who the Rat Pack is. So anyway, I just find stuff like that. I find it really amusing. The generation gap, as it were. But yeah, that's number 7, Abigail. Now, number 6. Now, some of the first horror movies that came out in 2024 was we got just a lot of religious horror. Okay, first we got Immaculate, and not even 2 weeks later we got The First Omen. Immaculate was good. I enjoyed it, but compared to The First Omen, I think The First Omen squeaks out more ahead. So First Omen is my number 6. One of the things that I enjoy about The First Omen is number 1, it respected the original, the OG, The Omen. Okay? Also, it fed into the original movie from 76 or 74 or whatever, in the 70s, because it's a prequel to the original 70 whatever, The Omen. But it fed in very well and very smooth, seamlessly into that original movie. So that technically, the end of First Omen is sort of like the beginning of the original movie. So you could do like a double feature where you watch a prequel and then the original movie, and you got yourself a double feature there, and those two movies would flow seamlessly into one another. So, and I just felt it was a better made movie for the main fact was that it was well done, but I really enjoyed it because it was a prequel, and we've seen prequels that really shit on the original, material and try to like rewrite the entire. I mean, if you're going to be a legacy prequel movie, be a fucking legacy prequel movie. Don't try to rewrite the entire, folklore or world building thing that the original set up. And First Omen did not do that. It respected the original material. And I like that. So, First Omen, number 6. Number 5 is Oddity. Here's another movie that the jump scares really were creative, well done, and yeah, pretty damn original. I've heard other reviewers, and I agree with them. There are some scares in this movie that really genuinely made us jump. So they did a really good job of just doing a really creepy movie, and again, they utilized the jump scares really, really well. So I enjoyed that. So number 4 is Terrifier 3. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sure a lot of you were thinking that my Terrifier 3 was going to be number 1. And yes, I mean, I'm sure, because Terrifier 3 did bring in a shit ton of money. I'm glad that they trimmed it back a bit. It wasn't the 2 hours and 18 minutes that Terrifier 2 were. It was still about 2 hours. But, they trimmed it in, and they reined it in a bit. And they did really well with furthering the lore and the story of Sienna and Jonathan. And they did something in the first 10 minutes of this movie that, well, I mean, I remember when the teaser trailer came out, like a year before, when Terrifier 2 made a return to the theaters. They was like, come see Terrifier 2 and you'll get a sneak peek of Terrifier 3, which really was, and I was right when I commented on it. I have a video about it on my YouTube channel, where I basically commented that it was just a showcase that's saying, yes, Art the Clown was going to be back, and this time it's going to be a Christmas movie. And so all the backlash came out was like, is Art the Clown going to kill children? Oh, no. I mean, and spare me your bullshit of that. It's like, horror icons have been killing children for a long time. There have been other slashers and serial killers and horror movie things where children were killed. But the way Damien Leone did it here was, I think, the right way to do it. He didn't show it. I mean, he showed, in the case of the two kids, the two siblings at the beginning of the movie, the first 10 minutes, he showed the aftermath of what happened to the little brother. But he didn't show the actual, killing on screen of the kids. And I think that was the right way to go. I mean, if you're gonna have that in your movie, don't show it. It's like things like that would be like, don't kill the puppy, don't kill the cat. All right, and certainly don't show it on. And I've seen some movies where they actually did show somebody killing a cat. I think the movie The Innocents had that in there, where some kid stomped on the neck of a cat and killed it. And it wasn't a real cat. It was, a special effects cat. But, they showed the act of killing a cat on screen. They didn't cut away. And what I thought interesting about this one is there were a lot more kills off screen. And the big one that people are kind of pissed off about is Jonathan. Now, I understand why they did that, because, it was, if you would have had his death be on screen, then that whole malarkey going on with Victoria and saying that it was Gabby's head in the cage. That one and the big reveal of it being Jonathan, it wouldn't have had the same impact. So I understand that, but still, it's kind of disappointing not having, Jonathan's death be on screen. I would have liked to have seen what kind of what kind of fight Jonathan would have put up against Art the Clown. So yeah, that was kind of disappointing not seeing that. But we do know that there's going to be a Terrifier 4, maybe a Terrifier 5. We don't know. But definitely a Terrifier 4. Damien Leone is already writing it. And it looks like Sienna's going to have to go to hell. First of all, she has to get her damn sword back. And she has to save Gabby. And who knows, maybe Jonathan's down there, and they could hook up again. They could, this time, Jonathan and Sienna could, fight Art the Clown and the devil or whoever's down there, side by side. So I don't know, but that looks like the place we're gonna go now is down to hell, so Sienna can save Gabby and get her sword and maybe finally do the final blow, the final countdown of Sienna versus Art the Clown. As long as we don't go out into space, okay? As long as we don't do that, I'll be fine. I'll be there. All right. So now coming at number 3 is Longlegs. Now, Longlegs, first of all, the marketing for Longlegs, finally a movie did something right. They approached the marketing correctly. Because, let's face it, the first trailer and a teaser and everything, I didn't know a damn thing about Longlegs or what it was about. All I knew is that I needed to see it. And then, when the second trailer came out, it looked like, okay, it looks like going to be a sort of like a Zodiac killer type of thing. We don't know if it's going to be like a true crime or how close to Zodiac killer, but it's going to be that kind of vibe. Now, this was another movie where the ending kind of split hairs and, split people up as far as whether they liked it or not. I enjoyed it. I'm in the camp of ones that liked it. Yes, it did get into the whole supernatural stuff in the third act. My main complaint really is the whole exposition dump near the end, where they do these flashbacks and do the voiceover of the mom telling this little story about this little girl named Lee, and I don't think they really needed that part. I think with enough viewing, people would be able to figure out what the hell was going on, even without that. But it's there are some moviegoers and stuff like that need things spoon fed to them in a coloring book, and that's fine. So yeah, if there's any doubt or confusion, that's cool that they put that little exposition dump in there to explain. For those of you not paying attention, this is what's going on. So, but another thing that I had really fun with this is just rewatching a movie over and over again and trying to pick out the scenes and where in the scene you see the little I guess I'm gonna call it the devil, Satan, the man downstairs. The image of like the in the background. I remember one scene. It was like, okay, there was one obvious scene where the devil was standing behind during one of the flashbacks behind Lee. That was pretty easy to see. But I understand there's like, I want to say at least a dozen or so instances that the devil shows up as like one of those shadows. And I mean, hell, that I don't even remember how many times I watched a movie and I finally saw when Lee was going to her boss's, her daughter's birthday party, and he's like, "Oh yeah, come on in. She just opened up her presents now." And when he goes to close the door, you see the reflection of the goat head demon, and the reflection of the window of the front door when he closes the door. It's like, I must have seen that movie like 4 or 5 times before that actually hit me. I was like, oh, there it is, there's another one. So the cool thing about it is watching this movie over and over again to see how many, if you could pick out and see the scenes where the devil shows up in the background somewhere, because he's hiding back here somewhere. And the ending, people, and I was the same way. I was like, damn, you're an FBI agent, damn it, shoot the frickin' doll. And then when she goes to shoot the doll, what? All of a sudden there's no bullets in the gun? I don't think so, all right? If she was an FBI agent, that gun was loaded to the hilt. And by that point, she only shot the gun 3 times. So if that was a standard revolver, there was still another 3 bullets left in that revolver. So what I think is, since we're well into the whole supernatural side of things by this point of the movie, I think Satan did something to the gun, did something to the bullets where the gun refused to fire. So that's my interpretation of it. So anyway, but overall, the cinematography, the lighting, and I got the impression that Michael Monroe's character, the FBI agent, I got the impression that her character was like on the spectrum, I think. Anybody else get that sense? But just the overall feeling of dread. And it really didn't build. It was just a constant underlying current of dread throughout the whole movie. And that gets me into why number 1 and number 2 in my top 10 horror movies of 2024 are where they are and what they are, because this year, or 24, really had to deal with movies that made me feel something, good or bad. All right? If they made me feel something, I enjoyed them a hell of a lot more. And the case with Longlegs, it made me feel dread. And when I go to see a horror movie, that's what I'm kind of expecting. So if a movie could do that, almost with this minimalist way of presenting the story and the shots, well, kudos to that. And Osgood Perkins, who, by the way, if you don't know by now, is the son of Anthony Perkins from Psycho. Now he just came out with a movie not too long ago for this year called The Monkey, and so I've yet to see that. But I'm if the horror and the comedy in that movie aligns with my effed up sense of humor, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw The Monkey somewhere in the top 10 for 2025. Who knows? But number 3, Longlegs. Number 2 is A Quiet Place Day 1. Now, this is one of those movies where just said a little bit ago that made me feel something. All right. Well, first of all, can I give kudos to the little cat? Number one, the cat didn't die. Thank God. All right, because goddamn it, if that cat died in that movie would not be on this list. Okay, but the cat lived till the end. But let me tell you why this movie is at number two. As a two-time cancer survivor, I fully understood where the main character was coming from and why it was so damn important. It may seem trivial to everybody else, but it was important to her that, God damn it, I don't care if the world is ending today, I am gonna have some frickin' New York style pizza. And that resonated with me. Okay? Because with my personal experience, with spending many years, I mean, I wasn't in hospice. I wasn't like terminal. I did have a percentage of surviving, obviously, because here I am. I'm still here. I survived twice. But to have that thing hanging over your head, to not know whether today was going to be your last day on earth, and how important certain things that may be very trivial to everybody else, no big deal, but when you're facing your mortality, when you're facing the Grim Reaper, those little things are not trivial. They are very important because you don't know how much time you have left to enjoy those little things. So this movie really resonated with me and spoke to me and made me feel things. It made me feel and root for the main character. It's like it was a foregone conclusion. She's going to die at some point. She's terminal. Okay, she's in hospice. You don't go into hospice unless you are within days, if not months. Your mortality is right around the corner. You know it. So I understood why it was so important for her to get that damn pizza. And also what made me feel a lot of things was, yes, she was going to die of cancer, but she would rather die with cancer rather than die from cancer. And that is why that final shot, that final scene before the blackout, the screen goes to black, resonated real deep with me. Because she was going to die. She knew she was going to die, but God damn it, she was going to die on her terms. She was going to go out the way she wanted to go out, not because cancer dictated it. So she basically took control back from cancer, and she said, no, I'm not going to die of cancer. I'm not going to die from cancer. I'll die, and I'll just have cancer when I die. But cancer is not going to be the thing that's going to take me out. So, yeah. So number two is Quiet Place Day One. All right. Now for number one. And is it really any, shocker or surprise that what my number one is? Because it's number one for a lot of people's lists. And that is Nosferatu. I'm just joking. It's not Nosferatu. It's not Nosferatu. It's The Substance. All right. My God, there is so much I could talk about this movie, and who knows? I may put together a podcast or a video talking just about this movie because there's so much message and so much being communicated by this movie. I mean, at this point, it's already won quite a few awards. I mean, Demi Moore, she's taken she's taken numerous awards home for her role as Elizabeth in The Substance. Now, first of all, for a horror movie, let alone a body horror movie, to be even nominated for any award from any organization is cool. It's great. I mean, yeah, finally, give it a nod. But The Substance and Demi Moore as best lead actor, winning awards, again, for a body horror movie, that is unheard of. So maybe these organizations are actually now coming to, getting their heads out of their ass and finally recognizing that horror is a legitimate genre in filmmaking. It has a place, it has something to say, and God, The Substance has a lot to say about quite a few things. First off, I mean, I'm just going to touch on a few high points here, and I don't know. I'll probably flesh this out more in another dedicated podcast episode just for that, or maybe not. I don't know. Again, and until this is a hobby for me. So until I start getting paid to do this shit, I do this when I feel like it. By the way, patreon.com/horrorgeekdungeon. I have a lot of things over there. Have some interviews there. Literally months in advance of before they even hit YouTube. Also, Patreon is the only place that you will see any of my movie reaction videos. I will not put those on YouTube because I don't have the time or inclination to try to figure out the bullshit going over on YouTube. Because I'm a small channel, I am not going to risk having my little channel taken down by YouTube because I, showed too much of the movie or whatever. So if you want to see the reaction to a movie, Patreon. You got to be a patron to see it. In fact, I mentioned Sting earlier. I think I forgot mentioning that Smile 2, my second movie reaction, is of Smile 2. So if you want to see that, I have another reaction coming out in the Patreon very shortly. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You just have to go over there, become a patron, and you'll find out. But yeah, the Substance, just the message of growing old, longing for those days when you were younger, kind of nostalgia, good old salad days, back in the day when you were young, and just longing for those days and those memories again. Also, just the resentment between the younger generation and the older generation. How important it is to love yourself, to accept yourself, whatever stage of life you're in. Okay? Yeah, there was just so much that the Substance said, and Corley Forget, I think is how you pronounce her last name, the writer and director of the movie. My goodness, what a visionary, and not too shabby for this being only her sophomore movie. Now, if you want to find out, see her first movie, you go to, I think it's streaming on Shudder now. It's called Revenge. And if you watch that, you could see, some approaches as far as filming thing, the way she does the lighting, the way she composes the shot, the close-ups. You could see some indications of that in Revenge, and how she utilizes that, obviously, in the Substance. And my God, the sound effects, the sound design in the Substance, my God. I'm surprised that hasn't taken home a few, trophies and awards from that. But yeah, congratulations to the Substance. Congratulations to Demi Moore. My God, she's in her 60s? Wow. That's incredible. That's another woman that acted her ass off in that movie. She really went full balls to the wall in that movie. Incredible. So yeah, that is my top 10 horror movies for 2024. I don't know if I'll do a video or audio for podcast of what I'm looking forward to in 2025, because let's face it, there's some of them's already come out. The Presence came out, even though that was kind of marketed as a horror movie. My understanding is it's more like a family drama. It's not a horror movie at all. They're just using a gimmick of the story, telling the story through the eyes of the ghost that's haunting this family. So yeah, I don't know about that. So anyway, yeah, the Monkey Companion, I think, is a really good one. So that's in a running for my top 10, somewhere in there for next year. But so there's a lot more going on. Sorry, Nosferatu was not in here. I did see it. I do enjoy Eggers, just the way he puts movies together, very period pieces. And especially Nosferatu. I think of all the movies he's done, I think Nosferatu is my favorite. But is it a top 10 favorite of 2024? Well, obviously no. But I do enjoy, and I drink up all that gothic vibe and aesthetics, and of just the way things are with the castle and almost in like black and white. Let's face it, it is based on the 1922, silent movie from, black and white back then. And I like how they used some of those, especially the shadow shots. We all know the one scene or a photo from the 1922 where Nosferatu's walking up the steps, and you see the shadow. You don't see him, you just see the shadow walking up the steps. Well, Eggers utilizes that whole shadow play very well in this movie. But other than just the vibe and the aesthetics and the visuals, the goth visuals, I just love that stuff. Beyond that, I think it was just a horny vampire movie. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to subscribe, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, like. I got a bunch of interviews over there. More coming up as well in the future, a few months. But if you want to see some of those interviews now, early in advance, months in advance, then you can go to the Patreon page. So, anyway, thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.